Hey, John Hope Bryant. There are many reasons why you're going to succeed or fail in life. A couple of my number one traits, and they sort of, they're almost twins: perseverance and resiliency. Perseverance and resiliency. Part of resiliency is an inner fortitude, an inner voice, an inner strength. There are things that are external to you that can zap you, that can almost destroy you. And those outer things affect the inner things. Why? Because we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Let me read something to you that came from a friend, an article that came from a friend, from an article in Nigeria that just touched my soul earlier today. I shared it with Shatra, and I'm going to share it with you. Listen now. Listen to every word. This is everything. Every time you succeed, there are some people that die a little. This is so deep. I'm going to repeat that. Every time you succeed, there are some people. These are not the people who you want to be around. These are not people you should try to be around. These are toxic people. There is something wrong with these people. But I have met these people. I know these people. I have seen when it's like they're twins. It's like part of them is a good person and wants to be good, and part of them is a person that doesn't like themselves and wants to kill you. Just wants you to go away if you're succeeding, because it means they're not succeeding, and that somehow reflects upon them. And you can see as they're asking you about your life and what's going on, they mean well when they're asking, but when they're getting the answer, when it's too good, you can see some of the light drain out of them and the darkness fill inside of them, and it's almost like they've got a little bit of daggers out. And you want to stop talking mid-sentence. If you're a high-frequency person, you're paying attention, you want to stop mid-sentence because it's clear that you're upsetting them. Now, you don't want to live your life for somebody else. So I suggest that even if you notice you're upsetting them, you don't dim your light. You don't change who you are. You don't lessen yourself to make somebody else feel more adequate about themselves. Never, ever, ever dim your light to make somebody else feel okay with themselves. There's an old Southern saying, and I'll get back to this. No matter how much I love you, my son or my daughter, if I don't have wisdom, I can only give you my own ignorance. Or put another way, sometimes we save our worst behavior for those we care the most about. So people can only give you what they got, all right? So if they've got darkness, guess what they're going to give you? Back to the article. Every time you succeed, there are some people that die a little. Envy is the tribute mediocrity pays to genius. I'm going to repeat this. I need you to write this down. Envy is the tribute mediocrity pays to genius. So when somebody's envious of you, it's actually a compliment. It's actually a compliment because it means you're doing something that they should admire but actually feel resentful about. Aristotle said, quote, envy is pain at the good fortune of others. Pain at the good fortune of others. When men are full of envy, men and women, by the way, I've seen people envious of my wife Shatra for no good reason. She's got a beautiful spirit and a beautiful soul. She's all love. You know, she's human. She's got moments where she's not perfect. Okay, nobody's perfect, but I would tell you, Shatra has good intentions all the time. She intends to be a good person all the time. She loves genuinely everybody she meets. She wants the best for you. She just means to serve. So why would somebody have a negative feeling about Shatra unless they're just hating on her? Because she's just doing too well in comparison to what is going on in their life. And so if it can happen to her, it can happen to you. It certainly could happen to me. I don't accommodate people. Shatra is more accommodating. I don't accommodate folks. I'm over it, around it, through it. I'm going to get to it. And so I might actually breed a little resentment because I'm just running so hard and I'm charging so fast, and my motto is that no one's going to keep me from achieving my objective that God gave me in this life. I'm a knight. I'm a knight for the goodness of God. I'm part of the round table for the mission of a greater good, and nothing's going to keep me from it. And I don't suffer fools or people with bad intentions. In fact, if I know you have bad intentions, I almost run through you faster. So I will breed some people who feel some sort of way about me, and I've decided that's okay. I'd rather you respect me and learn to like me than like me and never respect me. But there's literally no reason not to like a Shatra or a Quincy Jones or an Oprah Winfrey. There's so many examples of people. My mother, Juanita Smith. But I see the envy, and I see occasionally the dislike. An Andrew Young, why would you not like an Ambassador Andrew Young? My God. But there are people who player hate on Ambassador Andrew Young who were in the civil rights movement who will make some crap up like, oh, well, he never got beat up in the civil rights movement. He didn't get arrested. What kind of mess is that? I mean, there was, by the way, the FBI told Ambassador Young when Dr. King was assassinated on that balcony, and they were there together on that balcony in Memphis. Dr. Andrew Young was one of the people pointing, saying, there's shooters over there. And there were instructions. If you miss the dreamer for the sniper, kill the strategist. I repeat that. If you miss the dreamer, Dr. King, kill the strategist, Andrew Young. So he's his whole life. But Dr. King never wanted Andrew Young arrested. That's why he was never arrested. Dr. King never wanted him beat up. That's why he wasn't beat up, because he was a negotiator. He was the one. That's a whole other story for another time. I'll tell that story if you want me to. Put it in the comments, and I promise you'll come back and tell that story, but in some detail. But folks player hate on Ambassador Young in the civil rights movement. Other peers in the movement, Andrew Young ain't nothing. That ain't nothing but envy. Nothing but folks who hating on him because they are envious of him because he's a sweetheart, or as Shakespeare would say, he's a love bug. Okay, back to what I was saying. Let me get this done. Envy is pain at the good fortune of others. When men are full of envy, they disparage everything, whether it is good or bad. Napoleon Bonaparte once said, quote, envy is a declaration of inferiority. Napoleon said, envy is a declaration of inferiority. Don't bring envious people into your mastermind circle. This is so important. They would bankrupt your dream. It's a great quote that Quincy Jones reminded me of last night. A giver and a giver is exotic. A giver and a taker is neurotic. And a taker is psychotic. Look at your mate. Not right now, because it may not be the right time to have this conversation. But look at your mate while they're asleep or at afar and figure out which one they are. And then figure out what decision you need to make as a result of that. Are they a giver? Are they a taker? What are they? And what are you? And what you really want is a giver and a giver in the most ideal situation. If you don't have that, let's go call a therapist as soon as possible. Everyone needs to read this. And when they read it, and then read it again. And as I said here, I put this on my Facebook page. You'll find it there. This is the version of the Memo, my most recent best-selling book. And when they then let me know what you think. I want you to comment. I want you to share this and help to build a movement. Then I want you to go see one of my Hope Financial coaches at Operation Hope at a Hope Center near you, and to take your life back. So I want you to remove the toxicity from your life. I want you to embrace the empowerment. I want you to remove the toxicity from your life because you can do better all by yourself. The only thing worse than being alone is wishing that you were.